Okay, good morning everybody. Um, Pretty gray morning here at the farm, so I thought before it kind of warmed up, I'd go into the greenhouses and do some hoeing. And I thought this would be a good time to show you some of the tools we use for hoeing, kind of our weed management strategy, that sort of thing. So I'm going to walk over to the lettuce greenhouse right now. It's a bit of a mess. And I'll show you how we clean it up and how we kind of save our bodies from breaking doing this job. Cool. So we're just walking up to the lettuce greenhouse now. We just got a new shipping container that I insulated using some rigid foam boards. I'm going to do a video on that later. That's for squash storage, because we don't really have a good squash storage space. So all right, so this is the greenhouse. So let's grab a hoe. Just put a powered vent in here. Peace of mind. All right, so this is the lettuce greenhouse. So you can see we've got some really nice winter lettuces coming up. This bed was transplanted. The other beds are direct seeded. And you can see a bit of messy with the weeds. So I actually already did this bed. So you can see, looks fairly clean. You know, just a rough hoeing, but didn't take too long. Compare that, this is what the bed looked like. Lots of junk in here that needs to come out. This greenhouse for us is really weedy, especially with I'll zoom in here, especially with chickweed. This little bastard. It is, oh, got that one. It is edible. I've heard it's really good for you actually, but for some reason not in any other greenhouses, not even the greenhouse just right next door. This greenhouse gets chickweed like nobody's business. Luckily it's easy to deal with. If you look in the distance, it just becomes a sea of chickweed. So I'll show you how we manage that. Alright, so I've got 3 different kinds of hoes here that I'm going to talk about. We've got the stirrup hoe, the collinear hoe, and the wire weeder. So these are kind of 3 hoes that have different use cases for us at the farm. The stirrup hoe is the heftiest, so that's for getting the heaviest stuff. It's got this nice hefty blade on it. It's got this oscillating head, so you can cut from both sides and you can really reef on the plant roots and slice them up. So it's really nice for getting big weeds, maybe when we were a little bit later than we should have been getting the weeds. Alright, then we've got the collinear hoe. Kind of hard to see here, but it's basically a razor blade, a thick razor blade on a stick. This is meant for medium weeds, so I've been using it today. Also a little heavier soil, and it's just going to have that same action, just going to slice the roots right off. Not quite as heavy in action as the stirrup hoe, but it's a little finer and you can get in, you know, it's quite a bit smaller than the stirrup hoe. And then the last one is the wire weeder. The wire weeder is definitely used, like I say, it's just a wire, like a spring steel wire, just bent into shape. Now we've got a bunch of these. We've got 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch, which I never use, and one that actually has a hole in the middle so that I can go over top plants, but I'm kind of scared to use that one. Maybe I'll get some footage of that later though. Yeah, so the wire weeder is for the lightest stuff. It's for like pure cultivation, like just really small weeds that you want to get out of the ground. Also for light soil. So it doesn't really work super well in heavy soils like clayey or silty soil. It works really well when the soil is quite fluffy. So it is limited that way, but it's really fast and really good at what it does. Also, these two you're quite prone to damaging your plants because you might just go off course and nick a plant, and you're going to definitely slice it. The rounded edges of this wire really help you to dodge doing that, and so we like to use these where we can because it does cause a lot less damage. Yeah, so I'll set the camera up and show you the hoe in action, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the wire weeder because we've added a ton of mushroom compost to this, so the soil's really fluffy and light, and this is going to work in this circumstance. So how this works is basically I get in between my rows of plants and I just shake back and forth and run along the row, just like that. And you can be a little rougher than you might expect, but you can see that all of these little weeds have all been uprooted. I could come in and collect them, or they'll probably die on the surface with these temperatures. Yeah, and so it's a really fast way to get through a lot of weeds. We will come back and hand weed this, but it's much more efficient to go through with the hoe first and then hand weed what we couldn't get rather than doing the whole thing by hand. Yeah, so I'll run through a lane or two and you can see how that goes. I'll probably speed up the time though, so you don't have to watch me do it in real time. All right. Okay, my phone's about to die, so I'll make this quick. But you can see we got a really good control on the weeds. I'll do a before and after shot maybe. Now it's not perfect, you know. Okay, let's try this. What the heck? Okay, let's try this again. Please, motor, stay. Okay, so my phone did die. Fuck, stop. Okay, so my phone did die, and it got chilly, so I put a hat on. But you can see we got pretty good control of the weeds for the most part. There's one really bad section down there with just the wire weeder. I mentioned the stirrup hoe earlier. This is actually a good size range for the stirrup hoe, so I just wanted to show you that. So this is not the stirrup hoe, the torsion hoe. So this is the torsion hoe here. I'll show you the difference. Okay, so the standard wire weeder is just a solid piece. The torsion hoe has a hole in the center, a gap. And so what you can do with this is ride right over the top of your plants. It's a little bit scary, but you can get, this piece will get really close in, and the idea is that it'll just push its way around the plants. So I'll run it just to show you, and then we'll see how well it goes. So hopefully that's a decent angle. So you can see it's a little scary, a little harder on the plants too. But there we go. That's not quite the right scenario for this. Okay, so I couldn't quite get the effect I wanted with the torsion hoe in the lettuce greenhouse. So I'm actually going to move over to the spinach greenhouse and I'll run it through that. I think it's going to work better. Alright, so here we have the spinach greenhouse. These spinaches are a little bit younger than the lettuces because this is where we had the tomatoes before. But I am going to run and try and take the torsion hoe through there to show you. Okay, so got my torsion hoe. There we are. I can get this maple leaf out of the way. So like I said, kind of scary, but it does ride right over them without damaging them. And now, you know, it's very clean and there's no weeds even right at the base. So it does a pretty good job in the right circumstance.